Alrighty, everyone. So I'm Hunter Myers, and I'm the host of the Brand Bite podcast and the founding creative director at Berger Design Co. I am so excited to have Clara Capano here with me to tell us about her entrepreneurial journey. So Clara is the founder and chief harmony officer of Capano Speaking and Training, on top of being a best-selling author and the host of the Working Women's Channel and Living Real TV. So Clara's doing all the things. Go ahead and tell us a little bit more about how you got into this in the first place and what you're striving for now. Take the reins.
I love it. Well, Hunter, thank you so much for having me on. I love being able to not just share my story, but, have a platform where we all can learn from each other. So thank you. I grew up like many entrepreneurs and being that quintessential overachiever. And, I couldn't wait to become an adult. I was all about, how many boxes can I check off? And, there is some level that really loves that because I do like to accomplish things. But, all good things also must come to an end at some point in time. And it really was, I had two moments, one in my mid-20s and then one in my mid-30s, where it all came crumbling down. And this need to achieve really started backfiring on me. When I was in my 20s, going after all of those things. And by the age of 26, a lot of people from the outside looking in could think I had it all. I had the nice house, the nice car, the big job with the nice paycheck, but they didn't see everything that it was costing to get that. The long hours, the developing of ulcers, the end of a marriage, and really just being absent from life. But, I just thought that was normal because that's what everybody was doing. We are making our way. And especially, I think, as a female in business, so many of us working women, we were still trying to make our mark and make a name for ourselves. And, one of the challenges I had at that point in time is I was young and I looked younger than I was. So I really felt this need that I had to prove myself. So I had to fight even further, which drove me. And then when I got into my mid-30s, I was in my second marriage, had just had my son, and, found myself again going after all of those things, not just the job, but the other designations, the getting of my master's degree, starting of my new business. And, one night it just all came crumbling down when I realized another marriage was ending. I was being completely absent with my son, who was the most important relationship. I had to have the real honest discussion with myself that my clients were not happy with the level of service that they were receiving. And my drive to deliver excellence was actually delivering just the opposite. Because the more that I tried to give everything, I realized I wasn't able to give anything the right way. And, that turned into a night of ugly crying and really saying there has to be a different way out of this. And that was sort of, the beginning of the new Clara and the redefining of what success needed to look like and redefining how I was going to start showing up so I really could be present in my life, present with my relationships, and truly like the person that I was looking at in the mirror.
Yeah. So you talk about redefining the success, which I think is a really, really good point because a lot of us, I think, deal with what you would describe, like we grind and grind and grind and grind, and the work is the thing. And then you have these moments where you're taken aback and you get the opportunity, which I love that you have kind of looked at this as a learning opportunity. You get this chance to do something new. So what did redefining that success look like for you? What steps did you take? What would you encourage other people to do?
Yeah. And I don't know if it was, one specific step. It was just really sitting down. And at this time, I was also being introduced to a company that I now teach with, and it's called Ninja Selling Systems. And one of the things we really focus on is getting clear on our vision. What is it that we're really working towards? And the biggest thing that it taught me is to lead with value. Up until this time, everything was about making money. So every day, who can I sign up, on a contract today? Who can I sell something to today? Looking at my bank account, is my bank account growing today? And what this taught me is to change it. And so every day, what I started to do is waking up with the mindset of who can I serve today? what value can I deliver today? Who can I be a resource for today? And when you change that and you make it more about others than yourself, it was really amazing not only the level of peace that came to me, I found it was easier to work because I really just resonated with the fact that my job wasn't selling anything. My job was essentially being a good friend. And you know what? I can do that. And the fact that, wow, I can actually get paid for being a nice person and taking care of people. And it was amazing how, again, just a level of calmness, a level of clarity, no pun in that intended, but, bringing that in. And then also the money started coming in. And it's, really now, even when you read off all of those things in my bio, it sounds like a lot. And it is a lot. But you know what? I'm not stressed. I do these things and I don't feel that level of stress. It's not that I don't feel overwhelmed and like, oh, I have, deadlines, but I work really hard when I work and I relax and play really hard when I play. And I've learned to find, again, that harmony between life and business, not that balance, but that harmony between making it all work. And it all comes down to what am I doing for others more than what am I doing for me?
I really, really love that. Do you feel like you can touch on some of the experiences that you had when you were learning to do that transition? Because I think especially we talk about the money, right? Like I know a lot of us deal with that scarcity mindset. I've got to make more money. This is the success level. What was that transition like for you? Like, did you have moments where you maybe struggled a little bit, kind of pulling back to thinking about the money versus the value? Or did you feel like it was once it switched, I was good to go?
No, it's a daily decision every day because money is money. We need money. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like money is not a bad thing. Money's wonderful and it affords us to do many things. But, even today, when if someone were to call me and offer me an opportunity and they say, oh, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars, innately, I'm always like, ooh, you're going to pay me that? That sounds good. But then I have to stop. And what I've learned is, and the only thing I can think of is, I don't know if you're familiar with the candy bar Twix, and they have this commercial where they eat one candy bar and they're asked some sort of obscene question and they say, take a Twix moment to think about how you respond. I have those Twix moments. So before I agree to do anything, I always ask myself, does this make good business sense? And is this moving me towards my ultimate goals and the vision that I'm living for? So I really try to use those checks and balances in everything I use because opportunities come every day. Some are good, some are not, as far as are they healthy for our business? So I think at the end of the day, we cannot make emotional decisions. We have to make business decisions because regardless of if we are an organization of one or an organization of 1,000, we still are the CEO. We have to start making decisions. And as entrepreneurs, that's one of the hardest challenges because it is emotional. It's our baby. It's our business. It is very emotional. So we have to start, though, pausing before we jump into things. It could be bringing in our brain trust, but we have to start making well thought out decisions as a CEO.
I think that's so fair to say. And I think it's something, especially when you are kind of that solopreneur, it's hard to view yourself as that. So when you were starting to do that transition, did you have any like mantras that you would say to yourself or any reminders? I know for me, like I'm writing things on pieces of paper all the time.
All the time. Some of my favorite quotes is, and I don't know who said all of these. One of them is, life happens at the level of movement, not words. And that always reminds me, I have to take action. I can't just say I'm going to be a success. What actions am I taking? Another one that I love is, are your habits today on par with your dreams for tomorrow? Reminding me that, am I showing up and doing the right things that are going to, again, help me become who I want to be tomorrow? So those are some of my favorite quotes and my favorite mantras. And then my other one is, the vision comes first, the how will find a way. Because I think we always want the end result and we always get so caught up in how is this going to happen, when sometimes it's starting with that vision and sort of surrendering and letting it happen.
I love it. Absolutely love it. When you were starting out, what were some of the really big challenges that you faced that you had to overcome?
So your inner circle, my inner circle was not always as supportive as I wanted them to be. Sometimes they thought I was crazy. Sometimes they thought, I would get, can't you just be happy with where you are now? I would get a lot of that. And again, because I have that driver personality and that need to create, sometimes people don't understand me. They're like, can't you just be happy with where you are? Because, and there's a blessing and a curse to that. Again, it's great to have that drive, but we also do miss out on the celebration of where we are. So again, I've learned to, slow down a little bit, really start to celebrate. But I think the biggest thing was just people don't understand us entrepreneurs sometimes. And that's okay. But it also led me to find my people and, to join other networking groups and, other places where it's not that I'm accepted or not accepted, but just they get me.
Oh yeah. Yep. They understand the struggles. They understand the exciting elements too, that sometimes people are like, what are you doing? It's like, no, you don't understand. This is great.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. I love it. If you could go back and give yourself a piece of advice, what would you tell yourself?
I would go back to my younger self because I had this entrepreneurial vision when I was much younger, but I was afraid because it is scary. It takes a lot of risk. And many times you're putting yourself out there and being very vulnerable. And when I was younger, I didn't necessarily feel that level of worthiness. And, coming from a family with a safer mindset, it was, go and do a safe career. And so I feel like I don't want to use the word wasted because I don't feel anything is wasted, but I did. I would have loved to have jumped into this career path 20 years ahead of time. So I think, for any of you that go back to the vision comes first, the how will find a way.
Yes. Something that you had brought up earlier that I want to circle back to and touch on, because I really loved the language that you used where you talked about work-life harmony, not work-life balance. Can you explain this concept and how you use that in your own life?
Yeah. So I just don't believe that balance exists. And balance is very momentary. You can be in balance for that split second of a moment, but then life is not in balance. And great things don't happen in balance. You need that contradictory. So for me, looking for harmony, how can I make it all work together? And I am a really big proponent of helping people find success on their terms, because the way that you define success and the way that you need to show up is different than how I need to show up. We're all running our own race. We're all living our own lives, and everybody's needs and dynamics are different. So, for me as a single mom, it was, how can I make this all work together? So I'm not feeling the guilt of being at work and not feeling the guilt of when I'm not at work and with my son. And how can I, again, make it all mesh together? So it's about, again, learning how to make better choices so that, again, you're working towards, creating that vision for yourself, delivering the impact, but really being that person that you want to be. So it could look as simple as doing homework together. My son is now 18, but when he was younger, we would do homework together. That was finding harmony because I had work that needed to get done and I wanted to spend time with my son. So I'd be like, all right, you work on your projects, I'll work on my projects. So we were still together doing those things. It could be working on a plane instead of just watching a movie on a plane. So it's looking at just the whole picture and saying, what is the highest and best use for my time and my energy to make all of this work together?
And do you feel like you've got two separate visions then? So one for home, one for work, or do you feel like they meshed and bleed together?
They definitely mesh together because I can't have one without the other. And I need the support of both of them to make the other one work. And I think, again, that harmony makes me better in all areas. Because I'm able to communicate, I'm able to show that it can work. It doesn't have to be all or nothing, and that you can create the vision and the path for yourself. And when you start living in your own authenticity and your own harmony, it sends a message to others that they can find it too.
I love that. I feel like, and tell me if you experience this too, but I feel like this idea of kind of finding your own path can sometimes be difficult, especially in the beginning, especially in the online space right now. I mean, you see so much on social media. It's like, oh, well, I'm not achieving enough because I'm not at X level.
Oh, yes.
What are some things that you have done to overcome that and things that you would suggest other people do to kind of put their vision in front of what the expectation may be?
Yeah. So I think, again, getting clear on your vision. So like right now, my vision is around impact, and I want to impact in three main ways. It's by speaking, working on my podcast and my shows, and writing. So those are the goals that I have. So every week, every day, what am I doing to move forward in these 3 areas? So again, not looking necessarily at others, looking at others for clues. I was listening to a podcast yesterday on somebody who also has a podcast and how they grew it. So rather than coming at it from a place of, they're so much further ahead than I am, I look at it as, how did they get there? What can I learn from them? So I think it's again about just changing your mindset. And instead of having that resentment, having that need for curiosity. What is it that they're doing? Because first of all, we have to let go of the social media and all of those, because most of the time we're only seeing somebody's highlight reel. We're not seeing what's going on behind the screen. And so we have to, again, take it with a grain of salt and say, you know what? I don't know what their journey is. Maybe they have millions of dollars of somebody backing them. Maybe they've completely given up on their family life. Maybe they got lucky. We don't know, and it doesn't matter. So learning from them rather than having that sense of envy for them.
I love it. I love it. This is all so, so good. So I've got another question for you. What is something, and you could be less of or more of, that you're seeing in the space that you maybe want to see, like I said, want to see more of, or are hoping to see less of in the entrepreneurial space?
I would really love to see more free collaboration. And here is what I mean by that. None of us got to where we are on accident. We all had help, and we need to start paying it forward. Now, in a systematic way. But I am really tired of calling out somebody like in my inner circle, not just a stranger, but somebody sort of in my inner circle that's having success and saying, hey, can I pick your brain? And the first response they have is, well, I have a course that you can take. You know what? Let's just start helping each other. Now, again, if they want more of your time, definitely you can hire those people, and it is right to charge them. But you know what? Have a 10 or a 15-minute conversation with someone and simply help them. Because you know what? Someone helped you too. And, I do that, and people, comment on it, but I'm not going to stop doing it. I'll always give someone 15 minutes of my time. If it becomes a burden, if they're doing it all the time, that's a different story. But you know what? Pay it forward and help out your other entrepreneurs that are, struggling too.
I really, really love that. And I feel like that is something that you are kind of seeing less of in the space. Like you hear a lot of give value on social media, but not that personal one-on-one value. And just as you said, all of us at some point had a question, right? And it's so much easier to have a conversation with someone in your inner circle who you are seeing who is successful. And what a way to show admiration for them as well. So I think that's such a brilliant point. And you're so right. Like, will there come a point where, okay, maybe they're abusing that and you have to do something about it? Sure. But not everyone is going to do that.
Exactly. Like I was on a webinar yesterday, and there was, a multi-millionaire on there, and he was just saying, hey, what questions do you have? And he was just answering questions for us. And to be able to have someone who probably charges, $10,000 an hour for his time, but he gave 45 minutes to this group of women. And, we all can do that. Again, we all have programs, we all have this, but we all can show kindness. And I think we need more kindness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What are a couple other ways that you feel like we could have more kindness in the space?
Again, I think just taking phone calls. I think, doing things such as even, Facebook Lives or free webinars, nothing has to, without an ulterior motive. Showing up and saying, sure, I have this program, but today I'm here to serve. I'm here to give you information. If you like what you hear, follow me. But, doing that. Little things, handwritten notes to show gratitude. Thank people. It could be acknowledging them on social media. This is something I'm working at getting better at, but at least once a week, who can we celebrate? Who can you say thank you to? So I think just again, those little things really matter.
Really, really love that. This has been so, so good. Are there any other things that you want to share with us, Clara? Anything that you've got coming up, anything exciting, anything you want to celebrate about yourself right now?
Yes. I always have something coming up. The biggest thing I have coming up right now is, one of my gifts is being able to help other working moms. I work with men, I work with women who don't have kids, but clearly, since I'm a working mom, that's something very near and dear to me. So my latest book just dropped on July 25th, and it's called The Mother of All Success Manuals. how to control your days, lose the guilt, and find the harmony between work and life. And that is sort of my story and my gift to help working moms really learn to level up, but find a way to do that all on their terms. So that is available on Amazon, also on my website, certainly my podcast, the Working Women channel, where I celebrate women and share their stories to success, is great. And then again, just if anybody wants to follow me on social media, and again, they can always schedule a one-on-one clarity call with me. Again, that's 15 minutes to get some help, some advice in any way I can. I won't sell them on anything. I just want to be there to help them. So if I can, again, impact one life a day, I'm perfectly happy with that.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your experience and all of your words of wisdom. I feel like I took a lot away. I'm hoping that everyone else will too. And I cannot wait to see where else you take your business.
Hunter, thank you so much. And again, I think we need to show some gratitude for you and what you're doing, because being an entrepreneur isn't always easy. And again, many times we feel like we're out there alone. So your platform and what you're doing to be able to give others hope, security, guidance is amazing. So a lot of gratitude and appreciation towards you.
Thank you. Well, I will chat with you later then.